You think I'll let you zone?
Baka.
Lost media lists are usually reserved for, actual media that is lost, but I decided to make a special list for banned and or unreleased animated episodes, be it because of the subject matter or the dated cultural norms of the times. You'll be surprised at what gets axed in the early stages of development because studios take things too far sometimes, or they slip by the higher ups because they didn't understand the context of the scene until after it airs. This is the top 5 of unreleased or banned animated episodes. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, also known in the fandom as TMNT 2K3, is an American animated series that aired on the Foxbox programming block renamed 4Kids TV from 2003 to 2009. It is the second animated show based on the Mirage comic book series of the same name and is known for its much darker tone, including the infamous banned episode Insane in the Membrane, but we'll get to that one later. As there is another episode titled Nightmares Recycled that was considered so dark it was never completed even after a few revisions. The unreleased episode involves Raphael, Donatello, Casey Jones, and April O'Neil encountering the Garbage Man. They are taken to the Garbage Man's recycle world and later encounter Hun, who isn't so happy to reveal that he and the Garbage Man were conjoined twins at one point. According to the script, Hun eventually hired a back alley surgeon to separate the both of them, after which he threw Garbage Man into a dumpster, quite literally discarding him as garbage. The animation on the episode just started when 4Kids pulled the plug. 4Kids considered the subject matter too intense for kids at the time. Co-creator Peter Lard later also hated the script when talking about it in his blog, in particular Hun's utterly cruel rejection of his brother, and offered a more sympathetic scenario with Lard's suggestions, but ultimately failed and the episode was scrapped for good. One beer starts off with Buster, Plucky, and Hampton poking around the fridge looking for a drink. Buster pulls out a beer and plays the role of peer pressurer to his equally underage friends, and in the first display of super heavy-handed, very self-aware satire actually says, "In this episode, we're showing the evils of alcohol," and grows a pair of devil horns. Buster busts out the booze and uses cringy vernacular suited to a "how do you do fellow kids" moment, saying "stop being such a square pig, Hampton." A montage of woozy music and a burp off happens before Buster, Plucky, and Hampton make their way to Acme University with 5 o'clock shadows, lethal breath, and wearing hobo clothes. In the end, the trio steal a car and drive straight off a cliff and crash land on an actual grave, then dying and going to heaven, then saying it's revealed all to be a fake, and Buster comments that he hopes the kids get the message and they'll do a fun episode next time. The obvious reason the episode was banned was for underage drinking in a kids show. It was so bad and controversial that it caused the whole episode Elephant Issues to get banned from Fox Kids in 1995, and rarely had any reruns on Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and the Hub. It wasn't until September 16, 2013 that it came back into rotation on TV. Deadly Force is the 8th episode of Gargoyles, in which it has the sensitive subject matter of gun safety in it, as Broadway accidentally shoots Alyssa with her gun. Racked with guilt, he takes her to the hospital and then goes off on his own to take out his frustration on any criminal he can find. When the others hear, they assumed it was the work of a gangster Alyssa was investigating and set out to take him down. The scene in question is when Broadway slips back up to the roof and glides away to the clock tower. He pretends to have a gun and fires. Seeing Alyssa's apartment below, Broadway visits Alyssa. He calls out to see if she's home, and she answers, recognizing his voice. She tells him to make himself at home while she throws on a few steaks. Broadway looks around Alyssa's house while she cooks. Then something catches his eye, Alyssa's gun in its holster on the coat rack. He takes the gun and starts playing with it. He jumps around the apartment aiming the gun. Alyssa doesn't notice what he's doing, assuming that he's just fooling around. Broadway turns towards Alyssa when the gun goes off in his hand. He drops it and begins to apologize. He kneels down to pick up the dropped gun and looks over at Alyssa's kitchen. He sees that the meal she was preparing is still cooking on the stovetop, but Alyssa is not visible. Feeling concerned, Broadway calls Alyssa's name and walks towards the counter. As he approaches, he is horrified to discover Alyssa lying on the floor in a pool of her own blood, not moving. Though it was initially pulled from rotation due to the sensitive subject matter, it was later allowed to be re-aired after editing a few scenes of removing Alyssa's blood when she was shot or any scene where blood was clearly visible to the viewers. Buffalo Gals, the 7th episode of the 2nd season, was banned after only one airing in the US. This one episode in particular took things a bit too far for broadcast, as it featured crude and on-the-nose jokes making fun of lesbians. The episode introduces the Buffalo Gals as a group of rather rough and tumble looking ladies who ride motorcycles and wear buffalo helmets. They break into Cow and Chicken's home, where they begin munching on the carpet. Cow quickly becomes enamored with the gals and signs up to join their group. They engage in a game of softball before Chicken appears, hoping to coax Cow out of being a member of the Buffalo Gals. The Buffalo Gals are portrayed as dirty, disgusting, and have a hatred towards men. When Cow and Chicken's father becomes scared of them, Mom remarks they are definitely not after him. Buffalo Gals was never re-aired in the US after the premiere, and was replaced by orthodontic police in any future airings of Cow and Chicken. Insane in the Membrane is the 97th episode of the 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series. This episode did not air in the US airings of 4Kids TV because the content of the episode was deemed too graphic in nature by 4Kids. It was later made available on 4Kids TV's website. In the episode, Baxter Stockman has created a new clone body for himself. Bishop confronts him and gives him a warning that clone bodies are prone to decomposition, but Stockman disregards his warning. As Bishop leaves, Stockman puts his brain in the jar and starts to transfer his consciousness to the clone body. After transferring his consciousness to his new body, Stockman is excited to be human again. Unfortunately, his clone body begins to act strangely. He discovers his body has begun to decompose at a frightening rate. Although he attempts to study and repair himself through a mixture of reattached rotting limbs and cybernetic prosthetics, his efforts end in a failure. The episode ends with Stockman hallucinating a pleading April as his mother, who is scolding him for everything bad he has done. Before the cable car breaks free from the support cable, Stockman hands over April to the Turtles and Stockman falls into the East River. The episode was going to air in the US on Saturday, March 4th, 2006, but was pulled from broadcast because it didn't meet Fox broadcasting standards and practices at the time. Series producer Lloyd Goldfine said the reason the episode was banned from airing and was deemed unsuitable for air by Fox broadcasting standards and practices, apparently in between the time the episode was written, storyboarded, animated, and edited, and the time the show was mixed for air, there was a change of personnel at Fox BS&P offices, and no one involved in the original approvals was still employed at Fox. So when it was reviewed by the new hires before airing it again, they were horrified by the content and it was pulled. Insane in the Membrane was released in the season 4 DVD box set in the US, but wouldn't air on TV till August 2nd, 2015 on the Nicktoons network in the US. That should be it for this volume of Banned and Cut Lost Media. What were some of your favorites? If you have any topics of lost media that you want me to look into, leave it in the comment below. Stay safe, guys, and I'll see you in the next topic or video, whichever comes first.